Welcome to all the high vibrational beings of love and light. I am going to be taping today from my bed as I am still healing from a bacterial infection. I will be diving into the reasons why I feel this has occurred, as there's multiple levels to this. And as all challenges in our lives, it's about figuring a way out of it. And so, one of the ways that I wanted to be able to express myself today, because since I am sick, and the reason that I'm actually taping in bed is because I'm still doing much needed self care and, or more self care than I had been giving to myself, I should say. Um, and again, lots of reasons why that got out of balance. But again, once you recognize and become aware of something, you just turn it around and you will see progression in the opposite direction. Now, the thing I wanted to say was that yes, I'm going to be taping from bed to help self care. And I have actually tried to attempt video recording today a couple of times. I'm having issues with my connectivity when I try to tape online, or when I try to record. And there's multiple reasons for that as well. However, one of the things I thought is maybe this is just not the day I'm supposed to record. But I started doing something that I do when I am having blockages in other areas. Sometimes I'll just sit and write and allow whatever to flow through me, or allow my thoughts to be taken from my, human body into alchemizing it by writing. So this is one way that's helpful to, process and release information. So the other thing I wanted to mention is that today and every day, I have two little helpers that are bathing me in unconditional love. And I wanted to just let you see how adorable they look right now. There's one. And then I don't know, she's harder to see because she's so dark, but there's her little toy. Yeah, look at her. Oh, good girl. My goodness. I feel so good. Look at her. Uh, See, isn't she pretty? Anyways, another call out to how important I feel animal healing is, and just animal unconditional love. Because that's all the animals are wanting to do with us, is give us unconditional love. And when we don't have the support of other beings, human beings around, this is actually a better option, is to have animals help you with your healing. And as you can see, they are putting in their time with me. We love each other, so we always hang out like this anyways, but yeah, they're definitely helping. So what I'm going to do today is, since I was having issues video recording and my words coming out while I'm recording, I guess, I started writing. And so I am going to just go into what I started writing and read you what I just wrote here recently. I might comment in between, but I'm going to start off like that and see how this goes. Okay, so this message actually, I always write the date so that I have the numbers, the day, and the time, because again, that gives numbers. And this time was 3:43 p.m. And so three, whenever I see two threes and a four, or two fours and a three, that's my number. That is that's the angels speaking to me. And so just letting you know how my mind rolls. And so first thing is first, Mercury goes direct today after being retrograde since November 9th. It's weird. Obviously, there must be a reason. Oh, July 9th. Ooh, July 9th is actually when Saturn went retrograde. And that was the next thing I was going to say. So, see, I'm just thinking ahead. Saturn goes direct tomorrow after being in retrograde since July 9th or July 13th or something. And then we're coming up to a full moon on December 4th, which is going to be the sun, the full moon and the sun that day are going to be square with the north and the south nodes, where the north node is speaking on your future and up leveling, positive, future. And then the south node brings up your shadow work and things that still need to be released. So a lot of energy. On top of that, as always, there's lots of solar flares going on, and they are bringing us 12th dimensional DNA upgrades as well as light code upgrades. Basically, there's lots of energy flowing through and around us. This is creating chaos for the unhealed karmic beings and for those of us on the path to awaken and remember. We are surrendering and up-leveling. This is where you can really access your alchemizing skills into what you truly desire, not what you have been programmed to think you desire by default. The universe is sending me so much abundance right now. I am so grateful. Even though I'm still in a space of healing physically from being sick and having continued to do this all by myself without any other human support through this process, as far as, if you're not having enough energy and your temperature is really high one night and you need somebody to help you get some tea or water, you got to do all the grunt work for yourself as well. So even when you feel like you don't want to move, you do. You have to. You will yourself, because you go, my body needs this. We do it, right? Just find where I was at. Sorry. So within the past 2 weeks, due to surrender moments that I have leaned into, I have been gifted with the abundance of kind, supportive beings. I can count on one hand, but it's 3, and that's more than I have experienced in the past 10 months since I've moved back to my home state, where I have an insane amount of family members here that could potentially be supporting me. But due to the fact that they're all still stuck in victimhood mentality and believing false narratives from a karmic mother and father, they are not accessible. And I have at this point emancipated myself from the family due to this. It's, cutting off the energies, any bad energy, especially if they're in your family. So, let's see here. So I was just saying that I have been gifted with the abundance of kind, supportive beings. So there's been 3 of them, though, within the past, 10 months since I've been here, that I have found. 2 are the owners of the place that I have been working. And then 1 is the person who saved me not only with a place to live the day that I left my brother and sister-in-law's house due to extreme toxicity on any level possible. And it was this kind person that helped me, a stranger who helped me with a place to stay and gave me 2 cats, basically, that I'm now taking care of. But they're a blessing for me. And that's exactly what I was hoping for and had been manifesting. So these 3 people, they are not only restoring my faith in humanity, but allowing me to be me. In turn, this is allowing me to feel free to be my authentic self and connect with the divine in the most connected way I have yet to experience this blissful space on this journey. And it is beautiful and peaceful. And I am so grateful to feel what I feel right now. It honestly is all you could ever ask for on this human experience, especially coming from a person who has never fully experienced happiness, safety, peace, bliss, love, unconditional love, I should say, in a more consistent, blood like family type of way. I've experienced love from relationships, but I was only allowing a certain amount to be absorbed with the knowledge I had at that time in my younger days. So to me, I always knew there was still another level that I hadn't yet to experience of what unconditional love was, which was a lot of what pushed me to awaken back then, is because I knew this higher love existed, and I wasn't going to stop until I found it, as well as this ultimate happiness too that I knew existed beyond what I had experienced in levels of happiness growing up. And that's the amazing thing is that what I'm feeling right now, I'm feeling because I surrendered what instigated that surrender, me being sick, having to slow down, having to go back into my memory of when I first started intuitively healing and giving myself this self-care that I so desperately needed at that time, had never experienced it, and just felt melted right into it, right? It was amazing. And I had been there for 6 years in hermit mode, in my sobriety, in, celibacy, and all that, just in my own space, out of codependency. And when that got taken away, ripped out from under me actually about a year ago, not quite, we're approaching it. Actually, wow, it'll be in 3 days, it'll be a year. Actually, and then couple weeks, 2 weeks and like 3 days, because it took me a couple weeks after reuniting with my mom before I really realized, like, oh shit, this might have been a mistake. But as Bob Ross always said, there are no mistakes, only happy mistakes, right? um, yeah. Anyways, because I had to see what I had to see then. I know that now. Like, at first, before I understood that, I looked back at that time frame and said, wow, there were signs. I did get gut feelings, but there was more of me that felt like I was supposed to do that. I was supposed to experience this horrific explosion of what I thought of the family that I thought I have or had explode like right in my face. And, like I had thought that maybe had happened. Well, anyways, I got to a point where I realized I had to see that, because understanding that, I think that was the end of that part here. I just want to, okay. Yeah. So I'm going to flip back. So understanding that aspect of my healing, or of who I was, where I came from, who I came from, what I came from, realizing, oh my God, my family is the same narcissists. The people that I've been trying to understand from outside of the family, like these gang stalkers and these con men, my family is the same level, low vibration that they are. And I was like, damn, I'm in an after school special. And anyways, the reason I went back to that was because I was expressing the fact that really life did get chaotic and within 3 days because I was around that manic, super manic, addictive energy that my mom and her boyfriend were circulating in and orbiting in for themselves. And she kept trying to pull me into that. And that's, at first I caught it and I thought, this is the universe is just challenging me, trying to see how much I've learned about my own boundaries, my own energetic boundaries. And I did. I mean, I realized that I had to set up boundaries. And so that I was able to work with that at that time because of that scenario. And then, like I mentioned, it was 2 weeks after that where my mom went to go swing at me in a drunken, manic moment. And I realized, oh my God, that's not okay. Where have I seen this before? My God, my manic ex-boyfriend. And so since that moment, I have not been connected. I had been, I went in, I tried to, I thought I was, but it's hard to be connected when you're because I was in a fifth wheel with my mom and her boyfriend. And so I couldn't like I would definitely get out and be outside and be doing my own adventures, spiritual stuff in the day. And of course I was doing like, and that is actually when I started dog walking at one of the near animal shelters. And that was super helpful. And those moments were the most helpful, I would say, out of all my stuff I did. But I still had a lot of tools in my tool bucket again, toolbox, with ways to, reconnect. And now looking back on it, I really feel that it was those moments that I was with the dogs, but that only lasted for 2 weeks. The next month, when we moved to a different location, because the animal shelter in that location had really weird hours, and I had a hard time connecting with them. There was just more option to be around this insane, chaotic energy. So I'm realizing it completely disconnected me back then. And then that's when the universe redirected me and, had my mom exploded on me on my birthday. And then I end up back in my home state, which was the intent of me going back with my mom. However, this all happened in a space of, not, no intentions were around this. This just had to happen and it did. So I end up back in my home state, basically getting back here with a stranger, literally. And then this stranger attempts to like sextortion me in a way of like, oh, I'll let you stay with me if you give me this. It's like, no, that's not going to happen. I'd rather be on the freezing streets than deal with this. So then I end up right with my brother and sister-in-law. And then again, I'm disconnected because the energy, the chaotic, unconnected energy that my sister-in-law carries, I mean, she has insane anxiety. It's ridiculous. And she tries to numb it by just constantly moving, which I could recognize because I've lived that for so many years. And it's a it's about learning how to self-care and slow down to not do that, right? And I was trying to rub off on them while I was there, like showing them what I do to slow down and not letting them speed me up like my mom was trying to speed me up. And honestly, with as fast as they move, it reminded me of my times that I would use like any upper type of drug to numb out. That's how insane it was. Like, and it was icky. So it was gross for me. I was like, ugh, I'm not doing that. Those drugs for a reason anymore. And I definitely am not going to do that drug that you're doing, that, unhealed drug, you know, and whatever else it is, all the things that I'm not going back there. And so this is now where the universe was trying to show me that space of, or I was trying to take it like that as a lesson. Like, again, I'm supposed to be challenged with learning how to not let it pull me in and keep my boundaries up. The reason I'm telling this story again in this way regarding what I'm dealing with right now is to give an example, an actual experience that I dealt with. And that when I look back on it, this is how I learn for myself. Is I look back on, like, if I'm able, like, what was I doing a year ago, or what created this? Basically, there was 10 months of dominoes to lead me to where I'm at right now. And I handled them in the way I was supposed to handle them, according to my soul contract. So it is what it is. And if you ever have a hard time, like giving yourself the okay, like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. No, it's the way your soul designed you to do this journey. So the way that it went is the way that it went. There is no right or wrong way. There is just way. And but again, in order to release something and move past something or alchemize something or manifest something, you need to become aware that it exists, right? So the reason I speak about this going back in time right now with all this is not to in any way put intentions of victimization out there on my part. I'm past that. This is how how my mind helps me process what is currently occurring. Like, what I always look, what did I do to get, or what did I do or not do to get me to this point? What could have contributed, is how I should say that in a better way, to this moment occurring. So the disconnection started, about a year ago, but then, then less than a year, and then it continued on. And not only was that all occurring, but my body was still in imbalance coming back. And then it goes into another toxic and moldy environment. So it becomes more out of balance then. And even though I'm doing all the things to keep myself healthy, it's kind of like trying to swim up and out of a ice hole, and like an icy water. It's like it wants to keep pulling you down. If there's only one tiny small hole to kind of come up in, and that's what it felt like. So um once I left my brother and sister-in-law's house, obviously now I'm rid of the physical toxins that were trying to keep me down and not let me move forward, and where I'm just barely, maintaining. So now I can start healing on a physical level, but this takes time. And you have to be still in very much self-care mode when you are in a space of physical healing where you need time to heal, because all your systems have to rebalance. They all go out of balance it's domino effect. And once your body hits a point of inflammation to the point where it breaks down the systems, you just expect it's a marathon. It's like healing. You're going to always be getting that back to, balance if you keep reintroducing your body into imbalance. And that includes energy imbalance. So then I had this job when I started living with my brother and sister-in-law. I've had this job for 10 months, and since the beginning, I've had this energy imbalance of this one employee who was very much a reflection of my karmic narcissistic mother. Um, she too has a daughter that is not talking to her. And I got to see what is being said by the karmic narcissist to people to make themselves look like the victim. So it's everything I knew my mom was saying about me, because to hear some of these things she was saying about her daughter is just horrific. It was horrific. Like calling her daughter fat and you know, like things like, and I'm only speaking about this to like help people know that this is how they speak, so that you don't feel guilty or have any guilt about disconnecting from somebody who's doing this for you, especially doing this to you, especially if this is within your family. So she was saying, I don't care if I ever have a connection with my daughter. I just want I just care about my grandson. And it was just like, oh, that like, it hurts even to say that. Like my heart hurts for her daughter, like so much, like that she said that. That's just, I mean, ew is the only word I can say right now. So we're just going to go past that. Anyways, I had, even though I left the physical environment of toxins, I still had this energetic, karmic trauma bond that was still trying to have. And again, as with my mom and my brother and sister-in-law, I saw what I was coming into. I saw her chaos. I had every single employee warned me about her, but I let myself judge people, not what other people tell me. And she did wear a mask for a long time where I could see who she was, but I saw that if you maybe relate with her on a certain way, you could, you know, keep her in good spaces, I guess. But as any karmic narcissist is, they can only hold their mask for so long before it falls, right? And so hers fell about 5 months ago, which is interesting because it was right about the time of Saturn retrograde, which that makes complete sense. And so, which again was back in July, like July 9th, I think. And anyways, so I only had to work with her 1 day a week for 2 hours. And that 2 hours in a week was draining me. And when I look back at the time, and I didn't see this then, but I look back on it now and I can see the pattern. The pattern is after that day that I would work with her, only for 2 hours, that is it. I would come home drained that night. I'd get up the next morning for work, drained, barely being able to make it into my next day shift, the following day shift too. Just so drained and feeling kind of sickish, like low grade sick. And then I'd have my 2 days off and I would have to use it to heal basically. It was really annoying. And I just kept thinking it was because of my physical stuff that I was dealing with. It was tricking me, I hadn't, but again, see, I wasn't quite connected. This is all going to come together for you here because I wasn't connected enough in a way to feel this. I could, there was a tiny part of me looking back on that was trying to be like, hello, I'm speaking to you. And, oh, I see this is getting really dark here. I'm going to pause. Okay, so I hope this is better. Sorry about that. One of the things that I realized when I started this is that I'm feeling like I connect better when I'm not looking at myself in the camera here. So I had it in a way, I was recording myself in a way that I couldn't see myself because it allows me to stay more connected, is what I'm noticing. So I'm going to go back to that. Hopefully this is better. And sorry, I hope you guys could see me. I'll have to see if this will even be able to be sent if it's too dark. I don't know if you can hear this in the background as well. However, I am playing some frequencies here. Sec. It's called Speed Up Digestion Process. Heal your digestion, get relief from bloating, and this is isochronic tones music. One of the channels that I subscribe to, they're called Ninad Music, and it's Ninad Music. They have a lot of really good healing frequencies, and I definitely would recommend them amongst others. But they always have something that'll target whatever it is that you're looking to specifically heal. So, since I'm trying to heal bacterial infection within my gut, then this is perfect. And so I just wanted to make sure that you are hearing what I am doing in my healing process to help myself. So, okay, I'm going to try to pause a second and then remember where I was. Now, when I paused it, it was at 30:33, and like crazy, I'm seeing 333. And so I bet if you have listened to this point, you are seeing threes, and maybe specifically three threes, if not at least two threes or more. If you're seeing more, that's even better for you. But yeah, this is confirmation that you're supposed to hear this. So where I was at in this is that, here, let me just see how much time. Okay, right. I just said the time. Let's see. This is the brain fog. Anyways, so I was really able to see how this all was stress toxin related when I had to start working with this karmic narcissistic being for 6 hours on this day instead of 2 hours. And I did it twice before I was in the position I'm at right now. It was the second 6 hour shift, and I got to see her work with myself and one of the owners. And I got to experience this as well, watching a narcissist hold one face for one person and then have their evil fangs show when the boss leaves. And this is exactly what the other employees had been referencing. And I really got to see it big time within the 3 boundary breaks, which the third one occurred the second 6 hour shift. And then the next, like, I remember that night I was just exhausted. And so basically what happened, just so you know, that day too, is that she broke a boundary. She got nasty. She pulled a karmic narcissist move, just trying to get controlling and manipulative and gaslight, all the fun that they know how to do. And project their unhealed wounds onto you, basically, their insecurities. And so that occurred, and I called her on it. And she didn't like that. So she got weird, and it got weird for her, but it just was draining, because then the whole rest of the shift was so energy draining, and I had already felt it, and I was like, oh my God. That next day I had to go into work to train, and I remember my brain felt so scattered, and I was starting to feel low grade sick. And my gut stuff really started to like bother me. And then that next day is I had to call into work. I was so sick, and I like never do that. So that's how you know something's not good, like that, or it's gotten not good. I shouldn't say that it just had gotten to a place that I needed to, that I literally could not move. And so it was instant, like it was just instant inflammation in the gut that resonated up my vagus nerve, up into my brain. You could feel the inflammation hit the brain, hit the gut. I mean, if you can see me right now, because I can't see what can be seen right now on the camera, but I could feel the radiation from the inflammation gut inflamed out to here. And yeah, like creating headaches, hard brain fog. And yeah, so that's how it started, just coming up to 2 weeks ago. And then it just got worse there for like every day after. And I luckily I had the next 2 days off, but I slept for 2 days and could barely move, could even barely get myself outside to go get my supplies, because I don't have a vehicle, so I either e-bike or walk everywhere. And now that we have icy roads, I am down to walking. So that just means it takes more energy to be able to get yourself to places. And when you don't have that, you can't get what you need, right? So you have to stock up. And when you got to pre-plan for stuff like this, apparently, and I know this, but okay. So what occurred then is it was like 4 days into it, and I had to call into work again, and I'm like, wow, that's insane. I finally reach out to my doctor because I've had to get a PCP for the time being, because the reason that I still utilize the medical system is to help me know, to help eliminate what I don't have to, like, to help me kind of pinpoint if I can't intuitively feel it yet, like if I'm feeling lost within the process because I'm not. And that was part of it, is because I wasn't connected. Now I know that, and that was why it was making it hard for me to feel what was going on, for sure. But intuitively, my brain did start going to, it seems it's reminding me of the SIBO, which is in turn bad, and, an overflow of bad bacteria over the good bacteria. And this is how you figure, this is how my mind figures things out, is basically I'm just giving you my go-to on how I do things. So I I talked to my doctor about it. And then I also, during that moment, as I'm realizing that this is, and I'm realizing because I'm inflamed and I could feel, oh, that was the other thing is I don't have a scale. I don't weigh myself. And so whenever I'd go into the doctor to help them see what I'm seeing, is I would base what they would weight. Like I'd use my weight to help me see, is there, is what I'm feeling the inflammation and extra toxic waste potentially that's accumulating, because knowing what my diet was at the time, and that I was really down to only eating bone broth soup, my healing bone broth soup, which has wonderful fresh organic garlic, shallot, onions, red onions, oregano, rosemary, salt and pepper, some turmeric, ginger, and like, apples when I can, as well as like salad, fresh greens when I can, with good healthy extra virgin olive oil that is high in polyphenols, and um really good 80% must, um dark balsamic vinegar, or balsamic vinegar in general, on the salads, but that would be about it. When I could, I would get like a plant burger in when I was having a craving for something a little bit more of substance, if I could get there. But in the beginning stages, I mean, so basically I'm telling you all that because that's not food that would have me gain weight. I was, really having to watch making sure that there's no sugar coming in, definitely no processed foods, which is something that I'm pretty much past those anyways. Like I'll get cravings here and there, but um, when you're in this kind of place, you have to ensure that you're, really diligent on not allowing those foods in your diet at all. And then learn to just acclimate to never allowing them back in again. But hold on a sec. I feel like I'm getting lost here. So that's right. So, oops. There we go. Sorry about that. I don't know why it does that. So since I'm not looking, I'll have to look every once in a while and check, but to see if my screen is fading. So I was just discussing with my doctor then. Basically, I had seen that my weight had gone up by 5 pounds in a space where I'm like, in a month. And that's insane for the amount of food that I intake, which was basically the foods I just mentioned to you. Avocado is added into that too, because I'll put avocado on the plant burger, and on my salad, or I'll just eat it plain. And so, and then lots of turmeric and ginger tea, as well as like, yeah, anyways. So I knew that it wasn't a weight gain or a weight loss, because when I went in that day, like about a week ago to the doctor's appointment, they had said that I had lost the 5 pounds I had gained, I had lost that plus another 2. I'd lost 7 pounds. And at that point, I had had extreme diarrhea the day before that appointment. And when I went to the bathroom that night, I mean, there was so much coming out of me. And that's what happens when our intestines get inflamed. They go from this down to this. So you have all the food pounding up, like lining up. Sorry, that was really weird. um, Basically, you have a lot of fecal matter and toxins getting backed up in your intestines, and this is bleeding into your blood, seeping into your blood and giving you toxins into your blood, therefore making you sick. And so this is also contributing. So you have, your body's breaking down because of the inflammation, and now you're also holding in your waste because of the inflammation. So it's making you sick. So you see how that can make you. So this is what was happening to me, basically. And so right when I go in, she wants to put me, I had told her, I think I've figured out what's going on. I know that I have this toxic person I work with. And now I look back because of having this extreme moment that occurred with her and then going, you know what? I've been getting sick every day after working with her. And people are toxic. This is an example of how people can be so toxic for you, and especially for somebody's when they're in a rebalancing place for their health. Why it's so important to surround yourself with good, emotionally mature people that are at least, on the healing path. We'll just stop there at that point. But I had said, I also think on a physical level that I'm dealing with it, like these feel a little similar to the SIBO symptoms that I've had. And so I'm a little concerned that I could have an imbalance in my good and my bad bacteria. And again, within Western medicine, they can't test for that. With immune doctors, they can, and with functional doctors, they definitely can, and they can give you a plan to help balance it. Both immune and especially functional. But with Western medicine, no, they can't. So luckily, I'm going to a specific doctor, and this is actually why I chose this doctor, is because they actually do specialize in functional medicine. So the actual doctor I have, even though she doesn't know the medicine on the functional level in the way that I do, she's working with me, and we're, taking my knowledge and her, and we're kind of combining it, and she's helping me through this process. Well, so she had given me something that we discussed that I would do to try to help release my bad bacteria quicker. This thing, though, that we discussed is something that'll make me sick a little bit first, and then I'm going to get better. So, but it was the thing that worked last time in this scenario. I was, however, that's the thing is when you're healing without assistance, when you're healing on a natural level, you just have to respect that it's going to take time. And when you're around people that don't want to respect your time and your life, that's what makes you more sick. That was me seeing, I cannot work with this woman again. There's so many levels of why I had to work with her and see, certain things. Like I had to see, what she says about her daughter so I could understand what my mom was saying about me. And, I had to see that she was also draining my energy, siphoning it, and then also projecting her unhealed wounds and insecurities onto me, which is draining. It's very draining. And I speak about it so detailed like this because, again, I really want to be sure that people know that I've learned how to come out of victimhood mentality. I talk about my specific details and my experiences because this is what helps me become aware of what I did to heal from it so that I know how to do it again in the future if I encounter it for myself and or for another person if they, seek out for support that way. So my doctor agreed too. She was like, yeah, that sounds like, I hear you, what you're saying. That's a good point. And yep, good call. And so I was like, yep, so I'm going to talk to my boss and we're at least going to be sure that I am not going to work with her again. And that conversation will happen. There was another surrender that needed to occur where I needed to learn like a little bit more of releasing of lack mentality. And I am. I mean, this is what they call the somebody. I think Shavi Zane said this. They call this the terror wall, where you're going to take the leap of faith in something and you surrender and do something where you've never done this in your life because you haven't been programmed to do this in this way. And it was about the fact that I am a paycheck to paycheck person. And so having to take any time off for work to be sick, I have nobody to take care of me if I run out of money, right? And the old me would have said, when I run out of money. And I look back as well on the past 3 years that I have been that I initially got diagnosed with mold and mycotoxin exposure. Is the universe has been sending me sign after sign after sign, like it's time for you to take this leap and you need to focus on you. And I always kept saying, yeah, but who's going to help me pay for things? How am I going to support myself? How am I going to pay for rent? How am I going to buy food and water? And I don't need a lot. I've learned how to live on very minimal. And that's another part of the process that you learn, through this. However, it's just the basics when you just have to buy for the basics. So I had to step away for a minute. I had a time where I'm like, I don't know, I have this amount of money left while I'm doing this. And that is always what stopped me before. And that's the leap of faith, is going, I see that the universe wants me to do it, because the universe basically, put her in that position to instigate that for me and wanted me to see it sooner. But then when I didn't see it sooner, was like, okay, well, then we're going to put another obstacle. We're going to give you some physical health. We were trying to just give you an energy boundary, for you to create an energy boundary. Well, now we're going to make you sick, because the energy that you're giving her is going to make you sick in turn. And this is all agreed upon in my soul contract prior to coming into this lifetime, right? It's another thing to remind yourself to keep yourself in a positive space of this. I chose this path. I chose this. And then that's when you start thinking, aha, that's the only type of person or being that would have done this is an ascended master that's done this before, because they really wanted to experience what low vibration really is, so that by the time they make it to high vibration, it is what I'm feeling right now. And I only know it gets better. And I still feel amazing while I'm sick still. And trying to really stay as minimal as possible in my energy. Exerting is, or I should say, in the amount of energy that I'm exerting. Here, I should see where I'm at here for time. Okay, I want to keep this under an hour, so I will try to wrap this up here in 10 minutes, because what I'm trying to get at is that this sickness, the blessing that it is right now, because that's all obstacles, all challenges are opportunities. And when you see what they are, and this explanation is helping me, and in turn helping me to help any of you that are wondering why you're going through what you're going through. Why is this person in my life? Why are they making, why is this happening with this person? Am I supposed to, basically, what am I needing to release? That's always what it comes down to when you hit a moment of resistance. So yeah, it's funny because this having to surrender in this way is a way that I've never done in 47 years, right? I've always had something to always had some sort of work to be sure that I had a way to make sure things were paid for. Because if I didn't do it, I had nobody to go to. Nobody. I don't have that luxury. So again, saw this as a way that the universe is trying to teach me how to be strong in that way. And also that I have some, and I knew I had lack mentality to heal. But what better way to heal than really throw yourself into that one, huh? Because I was instructed that the universe would show me if I took this leap, that the universe would show me with abundance. And one of the ways, like I just mentioned, was the fact that, the universe put three beautiful people in my life that have given me, I just, I'm so grateful for them. So grateful. And the peace that I am experiencing, the bliss, the happiness, the ecstasy, and the unconditional love. It's like being given an infinite amount of gold. It's like breathing your first full breath in this lifetime for the first time. I'm being birthed into my new timeline. And if you are currently watching this still, you are too. And so I know that a lot of this information is a repeat from some of my previous videos. So for those of you who are following along, I hope it's not too redundant for you, but that intention and that is for me to help you see how to do this for yourself in your own lives, how to put the pieces of the puzzle that the universe has been throwing at you, put the pieces together, right? And becoming aware, bringing awareness to all these moments can bring an ultimate awareness at epic levels that can bring you to the next level that feels like nothing you've ever felt. I could cry right now. Like, I want to get emotional so much. And I know I can, but at the same time, it's just not, I don't want to force, and I wouldn't be forcing it. Trust me. I feel like I'm probably holding it back more than anything. It's just, I don't know. I'm not going to do it right now. But yeah, it's the feeling of feeling peace. And so I am sending out all this beautiful vibration that I am feeling, all this peace, all this bliss, all this happiness and unconditional love, as well as gratitude and forgiveness, and the ability for people to move past victimhood mentality into what I call surviving, which is thriving and surviving combined. Survivor, not surviving, sorry. Survivor, because thriver. Survivor. Yeah, Survivor is what I said. It was weird because I saw it in one of my writings one day, when I was journaling one day, and I was like, Survivor. I was like, oh, tight. I don't even remember writing that. So that means that it was sent to me, which that's how I knew it was a good term to use. Because you're not just a survivor from all that, what you've been through, you're thriving. And I am sending all this back out to all of you right now. All of the high vibrational beings of love and light who are on the awakening healing path. You are in an amazing space for yourself, and I am so happy for you. And again, though, for the people that have been watching, if this is redundant, I think I was trying to say, I just wanted to reiterate that this is meant to help you see one perspective of a way somebody remembers their awareness, I guess, becomes re- becomes aware of their awareness, remembers their awareness. I think you get what I'm trying to say. And so, thank you so much for watching. I am sending you so much love, so much gratitude. And yeah, just know that really good things are right around the corner for you if they aren't already. Thank you for watching.